Welcome to Casual Tech Review. Welcome to part one of the three-part series, The Beginner's Guide to PC Flipping. I've been seeing a lot of comments on YouTube and other social media about people just getting into flipping, and so I thought I would put together a quick little series on how to get started. That's going to be three different parts. The first part, which is today's video, is going to be how to plan your PC flips. Part two is going to be making deals and buying parts. Lastly, part number three is going to be about marketing and selling your PCs. For part one, we're going to talk all about getting started with your first PC flip, how to plan out your build, how to target a specific build price and sales price, how to verify that you're on the right track using good market research, and ultimately getting ready to buy all your parts. One of the most instrumental parts of building a new PC is making sure you have activated Windows on it, and you're going to use MyKeyShop for your next Windows key purchase. MyKeyShop is an emerging platform for online digital products. They offer Windows keys, Microsoft Office, and various bundles at super low prices. You can get 100% legit Windows keys and activate them online. Go to www.mykeyshop.com/software. You can see that MyKeyShop offers Windows 10, Windows 11, and Office and Windows bundles here on the site. And what's really cool is that they also have bundle deals where you can buy more than one key at a time, and they'll be a little bit cheaper the more that you get. Once you've got the product you want in the cart here, you can see I've got Windows 10 Pro. You're going to go ahead and go to checkout, and you're going to enter in all of your information here in these fields. And once you get to this screen here, you can see it says $15.99. You're going to enter in coupon code CTR55. That's CTR55 for 55% off. You can see right here, Windows 10 Pro is only $719. So next time you need a Windows key or any other software, come check out their site, www.mykeyshop.com. Make sure you use coupon code CTR55 for 55% off. Now let's get back to the video. As we walk through the steps, let me put some footage of me building my latest flip on in the background, which we'll go over the details of that at the end. So for now, let's jump right into step one of the beginner's guide for planning out your PC flips. Step one of planning out your very first PC flip or any PC flip is going to be figuring out what you're starting with. If you're like me, I had an old gaming PC that you can see here that I upgraded a couple of parts on, a brand new case, GPU, and some RGB lights in order to make the sale. Maybe your starting point is you just replaced a graphics card or a processor out of your PC, and now you have your old one that you don't quite exactly know what to do with. Or perhaps you're starting completely from scratch and you have a little bit of money and you just want to know how to get started flipping PCs. All of this is going to be just fine going forward. Once you have an idea of the parts you already have on hand and the parts that you know you're going to need for your PC flip, one of the first things you want to do is you want to set a target build price for each and every build that you do. And I use a spreadsheet with some simple formulas built into it. I'm going to show you how I use that to plan out my builds. So for this build, the very first part that I got was a Gigabyte 3070 Ti. So let's go ahead and get that plugged in here onto the spreadsheet. I picked this up for $200 and it was $12 shipping, cost $212. So the GPU and the CPU are the first two things that I'm always looking for. And then I'm going to base the rest of the build around those two items. So now that I've got a 3070 Ti, I know that I need a CPU that's going to keep up with that. So I've been really leaning heavily towards AMD CPUs. So I'm going to look for something in the range of a 57 or a 5800 I think would be appropriate, somewhere in there. I'd like to spend no more than $125. And again, all I'm trying to do is just set a budget for myself to guide my purchasing. I'm going to get a B550 motherboard, and let's say my top price I'm going to want to pay for it is $95. RAM, I know I'm going to want 32 gigs of RAM. This is going to be a capable system. So let's try to keep that under 50 bucks. SSD, I always use 1 terabyte SSDs. Not a whole lot you can do with these. They're around $60. The price has come down a little bit, but that's generally what they are. I know I'm going to need at least a 700 watt power supply. Let's try to keep that price below $65. Cooler, I already have a 360 AIO in hand. I paid $65 for it. The case, I bought the case before I bought any of these other parts. It is a Montech XR, and I paid $63.90 for it, so I do know the price of that. Now, some of the extras I'm going to need, cable extensions. Those are around $20. I know I'm going to need windows. We'll set that as 0 for the moment. And that should be it. I will probably get a graphics card support also. So let's plug that in there. That's $5.99. So roughly, as long as I can keep it where it is right now, my total cost estimated is going to be around $760. So that's pretty good. So now as I'm looking for parts and planning out this build, I'm going to try to stick to these here as kind of like my beginning, and I'll fill in source as I get the parts. I do have this already as well. That's going to be on Amazon. And I'm not coming up with these prices out of the air of what I want to spend on things or what they're worth. I am going to use eBay and Facebook Marketplace to kind of validate the data that I come up with. So first, let me show you how I use eBay. For instance, we'll search for the 3070 Ti. And once you pull this up, obviously this will pull up all of the listings for ones that are for sale. I'm not interested in that. What you're going to want to do is come down here to the sold items, click that, and it will take you through to all of the 3070 Ti's that have sold. You can see starting from the most recent. So you kind of get an idea of how much they're worth and how much you're selling for, and what a screaming good deal that I got paying $212 shipped. So here you have $285 plus $30 shipping. That's pretty crazy. $263 with free shipping, although that's not a Ti, that's just a 3070. Here's a Ti, $300. Here's a 3060 Ti, that's not what we're looking for. 3070 Ti, around $300. A little short of $300 shipped. Let's see here. Here's another one, $300 or so, close to $300. So you're kind of getting an idea. A 3070 Ti is going to cost around $300. So I saved almost $100 by getting it. And you can use this with any of the parts, plug in whatever you want, and you can kind of see what it's actually selling for on the used market, which is really valuable data. So I use eBay to double check on the individual sales price of specific parts. And actually that's kind of funny. Here's a 3070 Ti for $280. But anyway, I use eBay for individual sales parts. But if I want to know what the local market is in my area for gaming PCs, I'm going to want to go to Facebook Marketplace. And the way you do it is you search for gaming PC or something similar, and all these are going to pop up. But again, these are what's for sale. These are not representative of what is selling. So come down here to availability, go to sold, and now this will show you all the gaming PCs. And I don't quite know how the order of this works. I generally think that's an interesting graphics card support there. It's generally going to be most recent are going to be first, and kind of go from there as it goes through. So now I'm going to go through this and look for anything that's somewhat similar to what I'm trying to build. I don't see any 3070 Ti's in here. Okay, there's one right there, pending, $850 with 5600G and 64 gigs of RAM. So I can use this as a data point to kind of help me price what my build's going to be when it's done. And when I'm looking at this data, I'm really looking for trends. And the kind of things that I'm looking for is what kind of graphics cards are selling. And here in this area, NVIDIA graphics cards are more popular. You're going to see more of them included in sales. You're also going to find a lot of AMD processors, but the processors are a little bit more of a 50-50 proposition, not quite like the graphics cards. But anyway, it'll give you an idea of what is popular. You're going to look at what kind of cases. Are they black? Are they white? Do people like cases with RGB or without RGB? So you can really use this data, right? Look at the ones that are sold, not the ones that are selling, but the ones that have actually sold, what they sold for, and then try to learn what you can about your local market. You can also use this to get an idea of between what price range are the most PCs selling. So in my local area, PCs between $500 and $700 are going to be the biggest or most popular price bracket. There's also a whole lot of competition there. So that's why personally, now I'm more sticking to the $700 to $1,000 price bracket for my builds, just as an example, after analyzing my own local market data. Now that you are armed with all this data from eBay and the sales price of parts and Facebook Marketplace for what gaming PCs are selling for, now you can make adjustments to your own sales price targets and your build price targets to put you in the best position to sell your PCs. You've been watching me build this PC the whole time in the background. Now let me go ahead and tell you all about the different deals that I got and the total amount of money I have into this gorgeous looking PC. So I told you the first thing that I did was I got the Gigabyte 3070 Ti for $212. The very next part that I got a Ryzen 7 5700X on eBay for $118.19 shipped. It's a little bit higher than I would have wanted, but I got tired of fighting people and bidding at the last minute and just went for it. For the motherboard, I got a Gigabyte B550, again on eBay for $79.47. And I bought two 16 gigabyte sticks of Team Group 3200 megahertz RAM from Newegg, oddly enough, on eBay for $58.29. I got a Kingston 1 terabyte NVMe, the NV2, for $60.99, again on Newegg. I then got an EVGA 750 watt power supply, also on eBay for $47.19. That was a really good deal. I was excited to get that one. The cooler is a Thermalright Frozen Note 360 millimeter, and I got that on Amazon, and I don't remember exactly what I paid for it. It was around $65. I put $67.90 on here as the going rate at the moment, but I don't remember exactly what I paid for it. Something like that. The Montec XR for $63.90 from Amazon for the case. Cable extensions were $20.99. And then there was a couple support items I had to get. Wi-Fi antennas, an AIM4 backplate, the GPU support, and these two RGB fans here at the bottom of the case. They're Thermalright fans. They're about $10 each. All that stuff I got on Amazon. The total cost of this build for just the parts, $757.89. I've got it listed up for sale on my local marketplace for $1,000. I would probably take $925. That would give me about $170 profit-ish in there somewhere. So that is the build. I hope that you enjoyed part one of the beginner's guide to PC flipping, planning your build. Please stay tuned for part two, which will be coming soon. That one will be all about negotiating for and buying parts for your build. If you would like a blank copy of my spreadsheet, which has all the formulas built in it and everything like that, go ahead and join my Discord. I will link it below. Send me a message and I will send you over a copy of my spreadsheet that I use for PC flipping. I appreciate everybody who's watching. Thank you so much. Thank you for the engagement. You all absolutely give me a lot of the positive encouragement to keep going, to keep improving, which is the key, and I really appreciate it. Thank you all.